They say the internet is a window to the world, but if you look through that window long enough, eventually something looks back. We scroll to be entertained, we scroll to forget, but buried deep within the threads of Reddit are confessions that will make you wish you could disconnect. These are the terrifying realities of people just like you. The footsteps you hear when you know you're home alone, the face pressing against the glass while you sleep. Tonight, we dive into the darkest corners of Reddit to uncover the truths that prove reality is far worse than fiction. Prepare yourself for some terrifying, true Reddit stories. Now, before we dive into today's stories, I wanted to let you all know that I did not forget about the free merch store giveaway. Last week, I had to have some dental work done, and I've been recovering from a sore and swollen mouth. Now, if you keep watching this video, I will do the drawing later on and announce a lucky winner. If your name is selected, you need to email me at TheCellarTrueCrime@gmail.com. When you email me, send some proof via screenshots showing you own the winning account. If the winner lives outside the United States, I will still do my absolute best to get an item sent to you from the merch store. With that all out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into today's video. Is my ex-boss stalking me? User PastPass4577. I never expected to be writing something like this, but here I am. I work at a daycare, side by side with my ex-boss. We're going to call her Lilo. At first, she seemed very kind, respectful, and if anything, I was lucky to have Lilo as my boss. We worked hand in hand together for 8 to 12 hours a day, depending on how long Lilo would keep me there. To put this whole thing into perspective, we never hung out outside of work, it was literally just work. Still, Lilo acted like we were inseparable. About 6 months into this job, a coworker came up to me and stated I should be careful around Lilo. It's strange, Lilo always wants you in her office. I didn't think anything of it. I truly thought it was pure work with no ill intention. But I then started noticing things. There was a shift. Lilo always manipulated the situation to where I would need to stay late because certain things had to be done. There were days I was working 7 to 6 when my out time was 4 o'clock. If I felt sick, she suddenly had the exact same symptoms. Headache, same. Vomiting, same. I remember one specific instance where I had to run to the bathroom to have diarrhea, and she followed right behind me, stating she all of a sudden had to go too. She pryed into my private life, pushing for details about my trauma, marriage, and sex life. I don't even know how she got information out of me. She had a way with words and pulling out your emotions, even though I would state I don't want to talk about it. She made sexual or inappropriate jokes towards me pretty consistently. I just laughed it off and went on about my day because that's what I do when I feel uncomfortable. I remember one specific instance where she insisted that I join a throuple. Like, what? She inserted herself into my daughter's life, answering parent questions about allergies, medications, what she can and can't eat. It's like she wanted to be her mom. I remember one instance where my husband kept my daughter home, and he called me because she was having an allergic reaction. I was on FaceTime, and Lilo could hear and was insisting to give my daughter an EpiPen. She would not drop it. I kept pushing back, saying no, she does not need it, but she kept insisting and got upset with my husband and I that we didn't give it to her. Now, there's obviously more situations, but I feel like you all are getting the vibe. Eventually, she was fired, not for this, for something else. After she was gone, that's when messages began. Endless text messages, being nosy. The last text message I received stated this: "Hey, we haven't really talked much, and I hope I didn't mess things up. I don't want to bother you if I did and you need space. But if I did do something and I can have the opportunity to work on it, I'd like that. Just let me know. I'll respect your choice." I have not responded once to her. She would also reach out to my new assistant when she texted me and didn't hear from me, hoping to get a response from her. After this message, there was a 2-week break. I did not hear anything from her besides her liking my social media posts or viewing my profiles randomly. And now we are at the moment everything shifted from strange to terrifying. A fraud alert had hit my phone. Someone used my debit card. Location? Yeah, a pizza place, 5 minutes from where I work. Mind you, she lives almost an hour away. We called the restaurant. They confirmed the order was placed under her full name. And that's when I filed a police report. Police told me I should file a restraining order, but would that protect me and my family, or would it provoke her? My husband is uneasy. I'm uneasy. I don't know if this is a coincidence or obsession, but my gut is screaming something is not right. Am I going crazy? Am I being dramatic? Is she obsessed? Does she want to have my life? What should I do, Reddit? Am I going insane because it's making me feel that way? Almost gave a serial killer a car ride. From Reddit user Banned Will. So, a little background here. My father was in the Army for 21 years, retired, and moved to a very small town in Central Florida. He got bored after a couple of years, and even though we didn't need the money, between his retirement and what my mom was making as a bookkeeper/tax prep, he wanted to go back to work. He started working at various gas stations, and it being a small town, the owners wouldn't care if I came there and helped him out with stocking the coolers or even running the register, as long as I didn't sell any beer or smokes. This all took place in the late 80s and early 90s. The actual story I'm about to tell took place in 1990, and I remember the date well, because it was shortly after my birthday, and being 15 in Florida, I had just gotten my learner's permit, and my dad would let me drive him to and from work, just to get some experience on the road, both at day and at night. I was sitting in my usual spot at a table that was set up along the windows, book in hand, feet propped up, and a Mountain Dew on the table, along with some snacks. I would generally spend most of the evening that way, reading books, getting up to run the register, stock the cooler at different times. I remember glancing up because something caught my attention that was unusual, and I realized that a lady was walking up our parking lot from the direction of the interstate. The gas station was right on I-75. This in itself was really strange, because where we were located, you didn't get many people walking, and definitely not walking from the direction of the interstate. I figured she had broken down somewhere and was coming to use the phone to call for a tow truck or something. I was completely wrong. She came into the store, looked around for a few minutes, and I remember getting just a strange and creepy feeling about her. She walked up to the counter and started telling my dad a story about how she had gotten stranded and needed a ride up to the next big town up north from us. Ocala was the town. This is important. My dad lets her know that he's working and there's no way that he can take her. She turns and then looks at me, and while she's looking away from him, my dad catches my eye and subtly shakes his head no. I was confused for a second, but then she turns back to my dad and points at me, asking if I can take her. My dad responded back that I only had a learner's permit and wouldn't be able to drive her anywhere and then drive back. Normally, I would have done it, even though it was illegal, because I'd done it a few times before already. But I didn't argue with my dad, since this was completely out of character for him. He was normally chatty with the customers, but for whatever reason, he was almost curt and dismissive of her. Turns out, he had a bad vibe about her from the minute he had seen her walking up the drive. Well, she cusses him for a minute, and he basically tells her to get out of the store. She then slammed the door open, and I thought the glass was going to break from how hard she had slammed it, and then she walks out of the store and down the driveway. I keep an eye on her and continue to watch as she makes her way back up to the interstate and then starts up the northbound on-ramp. Almost a year passes, and I'm in my bedroom, less than a week before my 16th birthday. I hear my dad yelling from the living room, "Son, get your ass in here and look at this." I quickly run to the living room and see my dad pointing at the TV and look at the mugshot of the lady up on the screen. and immediately remember the lady who had been in the store. Turns out, I almost gave a car ride to Eileen Wuornos, who was later convicted of being a serial murderer and then later put to death. I still have nightmares about what could have happened. Who was he? From Reddit user secret_woman11. I've never really talked about this story, but after seeing some of your guys' posts, I decided to share a story. I am currently 15 years old, so it's been about 7 years since this happened, since I was 8 years old at the time. This story started at a campsite in New Jersey. It's a pretty popular campsite. It's very safe and calming. So, one summer, when I was about 8, my family and some family friends decided to go camping. We were staying for about a week or two, I can't really remember, and it was the third or fourth day. I was with 3 other kids, Dylan, age 10, Sophia, 10, and Maddie, 14. We got bored after eating dinner. Sophia and Dylan brought walkie-talkies, so since there was 4 of us and 2 walkie-talkies and we were in a safe area, we decided to play hide and seek. We decided that we would split into teams, 2 people hiding together and 2 people seeking together. Each team got 1 walkie-talkie. I was hiding with Dylan. We got a 5-minute head start to run around the huge campsite. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. It's in Cape May. We had actually gotten pretty far. We were on this road, and right by it, there was just straight woodlands, and there was a few houses there as well, since some people buy vacation homes there. We were kind of just sitting in our spot on the side of the street for like 10 minutes. Sophia and Maddie came on the walkie-talkie to ask for a hint. We gave a hint, and after like 10 minutes, they couldn't find us, so they gave up. We assumed they were probably close, so we told them the street we were on, and they said they would meet us there. However, something weird happened right after they said they would meet us there. All of a sudden, through static, we heard an unfamiliar voice of a southern-sounding old man. He sounded like he was in his 50s or 60s, and he said, "Now I know where you live." We obviously did not live there, but it freaked me and Dylan out. We asked Sophia and Maddie if they heard that, but they said no. We decided to scratch the idea of them meeting us where we already were, and we decided to meet at the lake, which is kind of in the middle of the campsite. Dylan and I were still kind of shaken by the weird voice, but we brushed it off as a glitch or something. As we were walking to the lake, we noticed a beat-up red car circling around us a little too much. We ignored it and continued walking until the car slowed down. He pulled up right behind us and rolled down his window, and when he spoke, we heard the same voice from before. He said, "Hey guys, do you need a ride?" We didn't waste any more time, and we sprinted away. The man in the car looked agitated from what I saw when I looked back. Dylan said he saw him getting out of the car, but I didn't see it, so I'm not sure. We found Sophia and Maddie and tried to tell them what happened, but they didn't believe us. We walked back to the campsite and didn't tell our parents anything about it, and we continued our day. I still wonder who that man was and what he would have done if we stayed in that spot for any longer. I also wonder how he got onto our private walkie-talkie conversation. Was this just a misunderstanding, or was he actually trying to do something? Very nearly abducted when I was a kid, by Reddit user AccurateAD6062. When I was 11 and my brother was 7, our family moved to a different city that we'd never been to, hundreds of miles away. My dad was transferred through work, and we were given a very narrow window to move, so we just had to go ASAP. One side of our backyard faced an open field outside a retirement home, and if you walked along the fence line through the field, you could cross one road and be at this beautiful park about 2 blocks away. Our first day moving into the new house, my brother and I just walked to the park to play on the playground and feed the ducks. On the second day, we headed to the park at around 10 a.m. Just as we came over the hill to the road separating us from the park, about 20 feet from the road itself, a busted-ass primer black 1966 Mustang slammed on its brakes and skidded to a stop directly in front of us. And the passenger door, the one facing us, flung open so hard it swung back and the guy in the passenger seat had to deflect it. He began to get out, fast, with both hands out towards us. I will never forget his face, engine oil dirty, scraggly greasy beard, bald but with a few little hairs on top he brushed back, and those beady green eyes. I've never seen a look in a person's eyes like that. Even to a child, it was instantly clear that he was the predator and we were the prey. He looked like a starving man seeing Thanksgiving dinner. I immediately grabbed my brother around the waist and dove headfirst into the backyard we were walking parallel to, not realizing that, because of the hill we had been walking up, it was a good 10-foot drop. As soon as we hit the ground, I scrambled up, grabbed my brother's hand, and ran to the back door of a house, banging on the sliding glass door. Then we ran as hard as I could, dragging my brother before I put him on my shoulder and kept running through backyards towards our house, hitting every window or door on every house we passed, screaming, "Help!" We made it home, and both of us hid in my bedroom. We frantically told our mom what had happened, and although she commended me for thinking quick and protecting my little brother, she was obviously skeptical that it had happened the way we were describing it. Many years later, I mentioned that incident to my mom, and she said she knew it had to be true, because my brother and I refused to leave the house for a month after that, except for school, and we would always run home from the bus stop. In hindsight, it's still very clear that the people in that car saw us and meant to take us. And now, thinking of what they might have intended for us is truly terrifying. That man's eyes, his weird smile/grimace, it's all burned into my mind forever. And there is no question we escaped something beyond horror. All right, everybody, the moment many of you have been waiting for. We are going to select a random comment from the Horrible Fates Scary True Thanksgiving Horror Stories video. I told you guys I would give away a free merch store item to one winner, so let's go ahead and pick a random winner right now. Here we go. And it looks like our winner is Drea La Tulipe 4930. She said, "I love your videos. Thanks for faithfully sharing. Happy Thanksgiving." So Dre, let's see, let me see, make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly. At Dre, I'm not 100% how that's pronounced. Drea La Tulipe 4930. You are the winner of the free merch giveaway. So please reach out to me at TheCellarTrueCrime@gmail.com. If you're within the United States, it'll be pretty easy for me to get the item to you. If you are outside the U.S., I have been able to give winners items in other countries. I have been able to make it work out, so hopefully we can do that. But either way, reach out to me on my Gmail and send some proof that you own this particular YouTube account, just so I know you're not some random person, trying to claim the prize that doesn't actually own the account. Screenshots work perfectly fine, stuff like that. Something that just shows me that it's your account, something only you could access in there. I'm not asking for any of your personal information or anything like that. Obviously, we'll discuss through email how and where you'd like me to deliver the item. But yeah, you are the winner of the drawing. And thank you guys so much for helping push that video. I'm going to probably look to maybe do another drawing before Christmas. If not, we'll do another one at the start of the new year. Thank you all for watching. This is not an AI channel. I do all the work here myself, and I would love if you subscribed, hit the like button, and left a comment down below. Also, I want to send a massive thank you to my Cellar Dweller channel members. We broke over 50 channel members now, and your support is it's immensely appreciated. And with that said, please consider checking out another one of my many videos, and I will see you all next time when we head back into the cellar.